So I'll give you just kind of like a brief idea of how this would work, all right? You guys on P4P are going to get a percentage of revenue that you generate, all right? So everybody, when you go out for the day, is going to get assigned about the same amount of work, right? It's not always going to be exact, right? Because some properties will be larger or smaller, right? But we try to make it as accurate as possible. Typically for each employee, you're going to have like 6 to 7 budgeted hours is what we call it, assigned to you every day. All right, you're working an 8-hour day, so we're assuming you have drive time in the morning, drive time between jobs, drive time at the end of the day, and like cleanup at the end of the day. So it's not that you're going to be on a property for 8 hours, you're going to be on a property for 6 to 7 hours, and then the rest of your 8-hour day is driving, right? So the way it works is, to use very nice round numbers, let's assume that you are going to generate $600 total for the day. Like all the customers you're going to visit are worth $600. They will pay us at the end of the day $600 for the work that you guys generate. All right, you guys get a third of that, so we just divide it by 3 or 33%. Okay, very simple math. That's going to be $200. That $200 is guaranteed to you, right? As long as you get all this work done, you're guaranteed $200. This is where P4P gets fun. It's up to you to decide how long you want to work that day. All right, so if you worked a 10-hour day, right, say you're going slow, divided by 10 hours, simple math again, you're gonna make 20 an hour, okay? That's our base pay, right? That's what everyone's guaranteed starting next week. Everyone's gonna make $20 an hour base pay. Now, let's say you got your $200, right? Nothing's changed. You're generating $600 of revenue. You're guaranteed a third, which is $200. Let's say you worked a 7-hour day. What would that be?
$28.6 an hour.
Does everyone see how that math works? Okay? Nothing changed about the amount of work that was assigned to you. Nothing changed about the amount that you're guaranteed. The only thing that changed between these two examples is you were more efficient in this one. Okay? So when we say you are quite literally rewarded for efficiency, it's a meritocracy, right? This guy, no one in this room is going to do this, stops at the gas station, is texting their boo, checking out TikTok, right? And they're wasting time, okay? This person is like, I'm gonna pack a lunch, I'm only gonna stop at the gas station when I have to go to the bathroom, and I'm gonna get through these jobs. So quite literally, on an hourly perspective, you get paid more to work less. You're not technically working less, you're just working more efficiently. Okay, is everyone following that? Good, I see lots of nodding, I like that. So if you're crushing it and you only work 7 hours, you check in with Corey, right? We always say, hey, check in before you start your last property. So that way Corey has time to like look, see where the other crews are at. Maybe somebody's behind, maybe someone had broken equipment, maybe someone had a customer yelling at them and got behind, whatever it is. Check in before you start your last property, and then typically if you're crushing it, it'll be like, hey, do you want more work? And then what we would do is throw on, say, another $100 of labor. That means you'd get $33 for an extra maybe hour of work. Right? So that's kind of how the math works. It's a great point, Oliver. And then this is the way you calculate it. So we leave this up here as like a demo for you. You will be required to do this on your first few days. All right? We want you to understand the system and know exactly how your performance impacts your pay. This is basically it. All we're doing at the end of each week is looking at your P4P versus your base pay. Okay? So P4P is the amount that you're generating, right? This percentage here. So $600, you get a third, right? So this is how much you're generating that day, all right? So I kind of want to do that live so you guys understand the basics of how this works. But essentially, you take your total budgeted hours for the day, you times by 80, we charge $80 per hour, okay? You guys, the total revenue, right, is $600, okay, divided by 3, that's your daily earnings. And then you just divide it by your clocked hours, okay? And that's your approximation of how much you earn per hour. We'll assign you a number, but we're gonna duplicate this box 20 times over. And then everybody's gonna come in and fill out their own boxes. Like I was saying, you're gonna calculate how much you made. So for the day, right, you would do your P4P numbers, and then you would do your base pay. So if you worked an 8-hour day at $20 an hour, everybody knows you're gonna make $160, right? Very straightforward. So the goal is to make more on P4P than $160. I know I just erased it, but assuming that last example where you had $600 in labor revenue, you made $200, right? That would be your P4P for the day. Okay, so right here you're at plus 40. Okay, does that make sense? So you're gonna get a $40 bonus on this Monday. Now, however, and you can see here it's in red, so it's very clear, you can technically hurt your P4P if you have a bad day the next day. Does that make sense? The reason we do that is because we don't want someone on Monday to come and fly through a bunch of jobs and be like, sweet, I made 300 bucks today. But half of them the customers complain, and then like you left your truck dirty because you were just flying through the day and you didn't take care of your equipment. That's not fair for you to get your 300 bucks and then the next day you can get another 300, and then all of a sudden by the end of the week we have 3 customers canceled because you were just flying. Right? So P4P is really about consistency. So like the next day, let's say you only made 150, right? And you made 160. So your base pay is still 160, 8-hour day, times 20 an hour. Want to make sure we're all tracking that. But now this Tuesday, technically you're minus 10. Do you guys see that? You made $10 less than your base pay. So now your bonus would be, does anyone know? Right, you're at plus 40, then you're at minus 10. Yep, exactly. Whoever said that, your bonus would be plus 30. Okay, are we tracking how that works? So this bonus here is not necessarily guaranteed on that Monday. It's about consistency throughout the week. And then at the end of the week, all we're doing is this. Which was higher? And that's how you get paid. Cool? Tracking? It'll make sense, obviously, as you do it on a daily basis, but I want you to understand the basics of how it works. So P4P, yes, it is about efficiency. Yes, it's about getting things done quickly, but it's also about consistency. I can say in my experience, I was never the highest paid guy on the team on P4P, but I rarely made yellow slips, which meant I always got a slight bonus on my paycheck, right? I didn't make a ton of mistakes. I didn't get a lot of customer complaints. I was never the highest paid, but I was consistent, and I always knew, sweet, I'm gonna have 100, 200, whatever bucks on my paycheck. Some of these guys will make 300, 400, 500 bucks extra on a paycheck, right? And they fly. I could never get that fast, but I also know I have good quality, so I'll just stay at my consistent pace. I'll make my $100, $200 bonus a paycheck, and I'm happy with that.
You've got to take the good with the bad, and you are the most equipped person to fix your own mistakes. You're the first person who can see them, and you're the first person who can come up with a solution for them. You're also the person who's going to work the hardest to get better than that mistake. So, this yellow slip, for example, let's say we've got a couple more of these. Let's say we've got one for grass and one for mine where I broke a hedge trimmer. And we've got this one, which is just debris in the truck bed. When we have morning meetings on Mondays and Thursdays, these accumulate over time, of course, and so we're going to get together, we're going to stand in a circle, and we're going to read them off to each other. So in this instance, I'd say Corey Williams at, I don't remember the address, 5309 Guide Meridian, rolled over a hedge trimmer with a trailer. Solution: be more thorough, be more patient, and have better temperament when working on jobs that I'm conflicted about and I'm struggling with. My mistake is valuable to you. Knowing that you can absolutely break those things and that they're not made of solid steel is helpful to know about. But 2, mistakes happen, but if you work on a team that cares about you, they only have to happen once. And you might be the one who has to make the mistake, that one mistake, but you can think of it from the perspective of you did it for the rest of the team.